and placement and the way that Team Gigantti will often sometimes facilitate that attitude.
Well, sometimes teams, when they realize that about an enemy team, they will try and make a more proactive attempt to dive onto a Zenyatta potentially. Usually they'd use, it was Angry Titans last season who just used Emil, sort of like as a dive bomber.
But just speaking of diving as Zenyatta, that's exactly what Leaf used to do on former teams. He wrote the book in EU about diving Zenyatas in goats.
All about the Leaf Express. He just comes out of nowhere. that was back, of course, when you got more damage out of your shield bash, and that was a very aggressive attempt there from Tridd, showing off some massive skating skill. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 coming through here.
But he will obviously get himself back to safety. Unlike some other Lucios we've seen throughout this first week, but he's able to fall back into Morning Stars, who are now going to play under the archway, and they've got through that first initial choke, and now Team Gigantti are rolling out the map to greet them. They are also rolling their HP away as Davin will go down. Tech 36 and Hell is dealing with this already. Zappis will try and return fire onto Hell, but they've already lost too many members. I think this is Morningstar's taking point A in record time.
Great control there from Hell. Used the knockback properties of Reinhardt's primary fire to make sure that Milkyman was stuck on the wrong side of that corner as he tried to get back. As a Reinhardt, you often have to jump backwards because you're trying to stagger your shield, and if you have your shield down and you jump and then you put up your shield, you're able to move a good amount of your regular movement pace rather than the 50% movement that you have while the shield's up. And taking advantage of that, Hell knew that if you hit him while he's in the air, you get a much larger knockback effect from the primary fire for Reinhardt, isolating Milkyman, making sure that he would be taken down there by the overwhelming tide of the Morning Stars, who have now unlocked the payload, have a healthy time bank, and can move forward with the Graviton Surge.
That's Asking ready to drop that right into the middle of Team Gigantti if they're not too careful. We're looking towards Zappis to potentially come in here with the consumption of that defense matrix. Might be asking a little bit too much, as it is more of a rare occurrence this season. He's just seen the DM and he immediately plants it down, knowing that it's on cooldown with that higher refresh rate. But they're going to separate out the player. Hell comes in from behind with the counter charge. Huge shadow on the back line with a self-destruct in the air. Zappis will find 2. Hell just not having the presence of mind to get himself in a position to protect his team, and Team Gigantti recover from what should have been a lost fight.
I know your parents never tell you to look directly at the sun, but in this case, I think you can look at that collapsing star. You just got to be a little bit more aware of that. That was such a good fight for Morning Stars until Hell just didn't have the right angle on this shield right there. I didn't see any sort of shield bash come through. There was no assist in the kill feed. But I've got to give credit as well to Gigantti getting a stun onto Zappis to make sure there was no defense matrix available. But now, when we look at Graviton Surge, Davin's got his ready to go.
Looking for a similar opportunity. Davin is a little bit more liberal with this Graviton Surge. He might play for the riskier play. I'd like to see if Tech 36 can remind us why he was one of the hungriest divas. Not on this occasion, but the Transcendence is there for recovery, and a defensive bomb used to deflect the aggression. Milkyman will find 2 or make that 3 on the side, but the sound barrier comes out in response to keep them topped up. And now comes the Transcendence from Zappe. They still have the beat if they need to re-engage with extra vigor, but they're looking towards Zappis to potentially use his bomb.
There is the bomb coming through from Zappis. The Graviton Surge on the other side is going to get Slur.
Why are these people just suddenly out in the street being picked off by bombs randomly? It's hard to tell if they're forcing the errors or these are just unforced errors from Morning Stars. But either way, the payload will have the handbrake put on. The vehicle's not moving anywhere.
We're looking very messy at the moment between these two teams. They're sort of exchanging ults here and there. Davin trying to build up towards yet another Graviton Surge. He's about 2/3 of the way there right now. I think it's about 80%. And he will be able to get that with the high energy that he has available to himself. Morning Stars, they exhausted a lot in that previous fight in Hell. He's going to be trying to use the premium on the Earth Shadow that he has, but it's a very tight window. Milkyman can get 27% so easily when he's going into so many members who are so close together. A couple of primary fire swings and he will have that. But right now, it's all about the pressure. They've got to get rid of Milkyman's shield. There it is. They went for the boot.
The nice boot will only result in 1 being found on the back line because the shield's gone, but Zappis has already found Tridd, so actually the opposite happens. The support drops down on the side of Gigantti, but Morning Stars are going to be the ones missing out here. They're doing this without the use of ults. They did use Leaf's Brigitte ult, the rally, to go back in on that one. You can see Asking in the kill feed being the final remnants of that fight.
Huge presence of mind. It's for little things as well. You see Zappe go down and you know that he's going to be incredibly vulnerable. But how are you going to get to him? You've got to go through a shield. To do that, use the Fire Strike. So that's what Zappis turns. He pivots. He eats the Fire Strike, knowing that's the potential thing that will get rid of Zappe, their primary damage dealer. And now Davin's ready to become the primary damage dealer in his own right. He has that Graviton ready to go. He's still got the energy to work with.
Shadow just going straight in, but Zappis is found. Asking's grab. That's the opposite of what we expect. Self-destruct being traded over the top of the Graviton Surge. This time, Morningstars evade the explosive nature of the ultimate, while Dredro will find Milky Man for Morningstars to try and press forward. The beat and the rally being layered on top of each other, but they're going to answer in kind from Team Gigantti. Leaf still working towards that rally of his own, but Davin is in there with 100 energy burning through Morningstars. This was going so well for them. They had 5 minutes to work with, and now they're left down to 1 minute 30.
The control on Helve is unprecedented. We know that Leaf is very much used to bullying these top-tier Reinhardts before everyone was exported out to Overwatch League, to North America. He was still building it strong, and he managed to get the stun there onto Helve, the mutual stun that you get when you have a charge into a shield bash. Everyone ends up on the ground, but Helve's on the ground in the middle of Gigantti and Leaf's amongst friends while he's there. The cart's still not moving that much. There's the Graviton Surge.
And a charge immediately from Milky Man from the side. Leaf is then going to find Helve asking, and Dredro Slur gives one final attempt to try and bring them back, and he only finds Milky Man, but with a charge in his pocket, he can make some serious distance and be back in time for that final fight.
Well, this Morningstars didn't invest that much in that penultimate fight. Potentially, they're going to have a lot available for the next one. Asking needs to make sure that he doesn't have his Graviton eaten again. Zander thinks he's got a feel for the tempo of the Frenchman on the other side, thinks he can try and build his way through that. Milky Man needs to be careful about his shield health, and he gets caught in the grab.
Gonna be there, nice and easy, but his health is actually denied that isolating charge, bashed up before he can go in. He goes for the risk, and it's punished perfectly by Gigantti, and they will use that to take out as many members as they can. They're on the back foot with 25 seconds remaining. If you can pick yourself up asking here as well, you go in with the ultimate stagger. He's too far. He's out of the effective range of Davin, but he does need to enter back into it with 20 seconds remaining.
Well, we thought it might have been the last fight, but mercifully Morningstars all died so quickly that they will get another attempt. But if they want to complete B, it's going to all be in overtime. They've got to stick themselves to that car and make sure that Team Gigantti are going to be roadkill. Milky Man's ready to lay them all down. You've got to watch Helve's shield health here. If he can somehow be stunned from the back by a Brigitte, everyone on Morningstars will be going down.
Rally's being traded as expected. Helve needs to break through the shackles of control that Team Gigantti have placed upon him. The bomb is there to export them out, but he's not going to get it. The shadow comes down. It finds Leaf on the back line, but he's already got the rally on the go. The Transcendence from Slur will be there to help Morningstars sustain throughout it all. B being dropped by Gigantti. Milky Man then has that shadow. It's time for him to find something as he farts a fire strike in. The shadow is there, but no one is on their feet right now as Milky Man charges through in that Transcendence, keeping himself alive. Leaf has been picked off by Dredro. The Graviton Surge then follows up onto Team Gigantti, who have nothing in the tank apart from a self-destructive throw-out if they can find the right opportunity. Morningstars have done enough to break the chokehold on the payload, but they still have opportunity for Team Gigantti to clap back.
Well, they may have broken the chokehold, but they're still running on fumes right now. They need to gulp down some fresh breaths of air. They've got to consume that oxygen and get themselves back into the game because overtime is still ticking down. Team Gigantti, they don't even need to win a fight. They just need to get Morningstars off the payload, and it will go down so quickly. Here, they can hold incredibly aggressively. Which side is everyone going to pour out of here? They may not even contest. Looks like Zuppe's going to go for a big flank with the charge shot.
Slur might be late to this fight as well. He's the last member to die, so they're not going to have all the Discord or Harmony for the start of this fight. And Milky Man's already found Helve. Zap is again on Gigantti. The Graviton Surge finds no one, but they don't even need it, Harry, because there's only Tech 3-6 left with the mech, and now you have Asking trying to run away. Like you said, overtime is going to tick down so fast, but no one's in position to contest. Gigantti will shut down this payload just shy of point B.
Helve there, even if he didn't die to the charge, would have died to the self-destruct. Was up in the air. Great play there from Zappers, making sure he had a large area of effect that would be uninterrupted, making sure that it was detonated just above the cart. So even if you were taking cover on the cart to try and keep overtime in session, that you'd have a very tough time surviving. And even if you were going to require some resources to make that work. You've got to get rid of the Zarya bubbles. You've got to try and get rid of a Brigitte shield. Once those go away, you're incredibly vulnerable, especially if you're a Brigitte. You've got no shield. At that point, you're just the mini Reinhardt.
You're the mini Reinhardt. You have
the hacked mini Reinhardt, really.
Yeah, you've not got anything going for you, really. You could maybe throw out your rocket flare or whip, but all you're going to do is knock them back. So you just buy yourself one extra second of life, I guess. Maybe reduce the damage by getting them out of range. But I agree. The prognosis, very bleak.
Yeah, Team Gigantti looking to try and game themselves a match point here in the series. Want to go up 2-1, but to do it, they have to take the first point and, of course, basically complete the second point of Hollywood, which is easier said than done. Hollywood B has been one of the more defensible points that we've seen throughout the history of Overwatch through multiple iterations of metas. It used to be that up in the top we'd see our famous Widowmakers, Ask, Track, Davin. They'd all be up there raining down the shots from above, but it's no longer so much of a Widowmaker-centric map. We do often see sometimes you can bring out a Winston here because the high ground is so viable on those first points, but often it just means if you can win a fight in the mid ground of B, that means you have time to get up on the elevator and move up as a 3-3 composition onto the high ground and then be able to pick your engagements so easily, as well as make sure your Zenyatta is left up in a very useful place. Both of our teams, speaking of 3-3, are going to be going for that, except for Zappis, who is on the Sombra. We're going to be trying to hack the planet. He's going to be able to scout out here. We'll lay down the translocator, but he's got to be careful not to be checked. We'll be unstealth here. We have to get out of dodge sooner.
And Zappis will then retreat back round using the translocator. Goes for himself again. As expected, going to throw it out. But there's spy checking coming in from Tech36, who will instantly decloak him and feed that information over to Morningstars. Knowing where the Sombra is going to give them a sigh of relief, and they won't have to be so paranoid about the location until they lose vision like this.
Zappis, though, he has put down his translocator in an aggressive position. If Morningstars try and engage here onto Team Gigantti and make sure that Zappis doesn't have time to set up, they could be in a great position to try and catch him out.
Immediately, nice retreat there from Gigantti to come and reinforce his backline, knowing they're going to be vulnerable to the Sombra, because he was eyeing up Slur. Zappis wanted to take him off the field.
I want to see Morningstars be more aggressive here. They need to take advantage of the effective 5v6 they had in the 3-3 fight. Hell falling low, doesn't want to catch this charge shot from Zappe. He's going to hit a couple of orbs and almost has to Transcendence. When he has this, they can move forward and make sure that Zappis has the play.
Mission complete. He may not have done it on the first attempt, but Zappis is going to remove Slur. Not fast enough to get the recovery, and now Health is just going to be dropped down as well. Milky Man has the Shatter. He might not even need it right now because they've walked onto the point, taken what is theirs. And they're pushing him back as the DMEC even comes into Tech36. Asking has been hacked up. He has no protective barrier to save himself. He's taking damage, but he will recover. That is, of course, until he walks out the cafe and gets hit with a hammer into the face.
And that was a perfect discipline as well from Team Gigantti. They knew they had the pick onto the Zenyatta. They were taking less damage. They didn't have this cuddle. They weren't the Orbs of Destruction coming out. Not only that, but it was less sustain from the lack of Harmony Orb. And now, because they knew that they had that advantage, they didn't have to invest anything. They know this is our fight. We don't need to use this. We can just WM1, and now they have 6 ultimates to show for it. They're going to be potentially unstoppable in the next fight, barring a calamity, and it will have to come from Tech36 maybe.
The one and done EMP out there shuts down Hell. Asking is definitely next. Kagassi's going to drop down. Asking stays alive long enough. The hack is now expired, so he will have the bubble to keep himself up, but he will fall down ultimately. So Team Gigantti invest 1 of their 6 ultimates to get some extra mileage out of this payload.
That's a freebie right there. Tech36 was up on the high ground, making sure that he would be able to use that defense matrix, but of course Damon doesn't need to use the grab. If no one can use their abilities, you can just WM1 forward. Zappis is going to be, of course, trying to build up towards that EMP, can get aggressive to do that again, and Morningstars can just run straight into everybody. It's going to be 6 ultimates versus 5 ultimates. I hope you're limbered up, Tridd, because this is going to be an incredibly fast fight to cast, because moving into final here, both of these teams are going to be wanting to play for their lives.
And there's the rally. That signals it, as you would expect, the beginning of the fight. Immediately translocation comes out for Zappis. There's the Shatter put into the shield of Health. So no fast usage as the grab will lock up Milky Man. Transcenders, as expected, will come in. It's all part and parcel. But Health gets hacked up there when he had his back shown to the team. So you won't have a shield to use. But now they're going to commit that Graviton Surge into the fight. The charge out comes out. Big Shatter from Health. And the self-destruct won't pick anyone else up. But Tridd did, in fact, do that. Team Gigantti invested 4 of their 5 remaining ults. Lilbo, actually, they're losing out the sound barrier to use that on Team Gigantti. So all their ults invested into that fight. But we've seen what Zappis can do with just the 1 ultimate on the next attempt.
Well, I got to give credit to Asking right there. Got a projected barrier onto Drijo just as he was about to be pinned, making sure that Drijo would be able to brawl out, get a lot of damage onto Milky Man, and of course get the assassination onto Zappe towards the end of that. Morningstars now are in a great position to try and defend this because it's such a long commute back for Team Gigantti. They have maybe 3 fights to work with here with their 3 minutes because so much setup time is required moving into this area of Hollywood. But Health, he doesn't have a huge amount of physical cover to use here to try and maintain the shield health, whereas it's a little bit easier for Milky Man.
He's not going to have any shield health. There's a EMP available. He just hits 4. They walk into the area of effect, and Milky Man fires the flame strike straight through Health, who's already weakened by the focus fire coming out from Gigantti, knowing that shield will be down. A couple of people hiding out in a jail cell, but that's no place to hide. It's not even solitary confinement for them. As Asking will try and emerge from this building with the rest of his team. Tech36 will get DMEC as what they're trying to attempt this valiant final struggle. They're already going to throw down that Graviton Surge. Transcendence is there to try and assist, but the hack trying to come out there onto Health, who has an Earth Shadow. He's unable to use it, and Leaf immediately focuses him, takes him out of the fight, and makes sure he will not be bringing it to what could be their final hold.
Milky Man almost has the Earth Shadow. Everyone's caught up in the Graviton Surge. We can lay him down on the ground. This could be what is required, but he's been stunned, and he's taken a huge amount of damage, Tridd.
Milky Man drops down as well. He's going to go down with that Earth Shadow online. Health is back in position. This is by far the final fight for Team Gigantti. Even if they lose here, the Shadow on the retreat, they turn their backs. No one escapes health right now, as Leaf will be dropped down on the back end of that one. Team Gigantti have to go for a full recover. Looking at the resources available, you got yourself a self-destruct, the Graviton Surge, the beat as well. Zappis moving towards that EMP. We could go for the EMP Shatter combo to seal the deal for Gigantti.
I'm thinking the same thing, Tridd. Doesn't matter what resources Morning Stars have. If they are hacked by the EMP of Sombra, they can even go for a manual hack first onto health, try and force out some panic reaction. Especially if they can get Dredro to use his sound barrier, then EMP, that would be the ultimate play. Dredro needs to stay out of EMP range here. It's a mind game between himself and Zappis. Cannot get the manual hack on Tech 36, goes up onto the high ground, may use the translocator here, but he's caught in the ground.
He can't get out of the chaos right now. They have to use their transcendence early in this fight. But there's the EMP. It finds free. We see what they did before. Dredro stayed out of the range. The Shadow immediately dropped onto that fight. The down barrier was good, and it came in to save Morning Stars when they needed it the most. Graviton Surge now seems to be the play. Slur's Transcendence has expired. The kills have come in for Team Gigantti, and you've hacked up Tech 36. He's unable to go anywhere. Get the D-Mech. Clear out that final little Lucio, and Team Gigantti will be able to take the lead in this series.
It was a valiant attempt to try and downplay the potential for that one bow combo with the EMP into the Shadow. Didn't manage to get anything. I'm not even sure how we saw Milky Man not get much from that Shadow, but in the end, there was nothing to try and deal with the Graviton after. Dredro was forced to use a sound barrier to make sure his hack teammates had enough health to survive that particular onslaught. He did a good job of staying out of the EMP's area of effect, which is your main job as Velocio. But then he didn't have that available to give everyone extra health when they caught him that Graviton Surge. Milky Man's like, I've just used the Shadow, but no one's going to know. I'm just going to swing on through. I'll get myself another one.
Yeah, and also, well played there, because obviously the beat coming in enables Slur to stay alive long enough. He had the Transcendence in his pocket to then take over the healing responsibilities, keep him alive in that fight. Ultimately, didn't work out for them, as we already know, by virtue of Team Gigantti taking the lead in this series. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, map number 4 coming right at you. Hey everyone, we're just nearly coming into the final section of the week. We've got map number 4 coming up very quickly. We're going to be moving over to Havana. Currently got a 2-1 scoreline in favor of Team Gigantti, and you can see the maps won in the past there. Temple of Anubis being the only one that Morning Stars have picked up so far.
Yeah, Gigantti are going to be hungry to try and close this one out. They need to start the season well so people regain their faith in Gigantti. We expected them to have a top 2 finish last time around, especially when we thought that potentially Angry Titans would have been weakened with their loss of 2 members and bringing in Emil and Fat, but of course, seems like it wasn't really a problem for them. But now Gigantti, with their lack of changes, only bringing in Leaf, this is their time to once again reclaim the throne. They did win Season 3 of Contenders, so they are multiple-time Contenders champions on this team.
They've won a lot of... They've been in a lot of Contenders finals, more accurately.
Davin's been there every single time.
Davin's been there every single time. I think the only one in recent memory they've not been to was Season 2, which was obviously AT versus Eagle Gaming. But Team Gigantti, they missed out on Season 1 as well. That was the Hurricane AT era, but we've already talked about a slightly weakened Angry Titans. More evident by the fact that they lost that match against Shoes Money Crew yesterday, who, not to take anything away from them, were actually looking great on form.
Oh yeah, Shoes Money Crew look fantastic, and it seems like the old guard right now having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
British Hurricane are gone. Well, not gone, but they're down.
Crab, British Hurricane are gone. Crab, not quite
just
just
yet.
yet.
Crab against them because Seb is Crab.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. He was born...
It's more like lobster.
He was molded by the crab. But when we come around, like, it was a bit startling looking at those standings. Like you said, the old guard sitting at the bottom of the leaderboards to begin with. There is the potential Morning Stars come back themselves here and go for the 5th map victory against Team Gigantti. But I'm liking the prospects of what I'm seeing here from this finished roster. They're going to be coming back into this one. I have a feeling they could walk away with Havana here and mirror the first scoreline with a 3-1 victory in this series.
Well, that's what we're going to be hoping for. Right now, Morning Stars still have a little bit of time to mix around with their comp. They're in the offensive spawn. Team Gigantti are going to be, of course, defending with the regular 3-3 composition. And they may try to get aggressive here. This has been the motif of what we've been seeing on Havana. It's all about these aggressive holds. Morning Stars, upon seeing the aggressive 3-3 hold, do look like they're going to mirror that. They think that they can potentially outwit Team Gigantti in a straight mirror matchup.
They're going to try and move out here. And Milky Man's already built up towards 50% of his Earth Shadow. It's going to be big for Gigantti to try and hold on to this aggressive position. That's 100 charge on Asking. He's going to do some damage with that one if he starts finding the targets. And he's weaving it around the shield of Milky Man, who was pushed into the team of Morning Stars. And Asking just hold this position and press forward. And because Milky Man was so vulnerable, it's an easy pickup for the side of Morning Stars to break this initial entrenchment from Team Gigantti.
My boy Asking may well be Magneto because he's curving those bullets, making his way around the shield. Now he's got Davin in his sights. It's going to be a pick-off. No energy left for you. Liquefied against that Berserk Killer post, courtesy of the Swiss man himself. I think Helv may be one of the first Swiss competitors we've actually had in European Contenders, so congratulations to him. If I'm missing out on anyone, sorry, you can
get some angry tweets.
You can shout at me later on Twitter, I'm sure you will.
Asking's nearly got a grab.
He almost does.
We are like just a minute in, and now the grab's online for him. Absolutely fantastic. Davin's not too far behind him, though, so credit where credit is due. They are keeping up with each other. Helv has the Earth Shadow. That's probably going to be the big one here, as he can get it behind Milky Man's shield. But that grab comes out, locks him in position. Helv moving into position where he wants to be right now, inviting him to play into it. The bash comes in, and yeah, like you said, Harry, the Shadow being cancelled out by Leaf. Just the perfect time for now. Somehow, Milky Man went over the top of the entire party, but he's right on the ground when he needs to be with that Earth Shadow. Going to knock down members of Morning Stars, kill the momentum in this push, and try and build some semblance of a point A defense.
Well, they do have a little bit of stability now. Need to be careful not to leave that point for too long, because you know how those Lucios are. It is moving backwards. Arsing's going to make the most of the energy that he has. Will end himself on the mech of the enemy. But he almost has. Yet another grab. He lost that fight, and he's now got twice as much charge again as Davin had. Of course, Davin did use second. And Asking with that grab, he actually hit people on top of the car, which meant that it was a little bit hard for Helv to try and get a charge through because they're on a difficult vertical elevation. I mean, you can't really guarantee who you're going to be pinning in that particular mess of enemies.
Well, Asking may have a grab, but Zappa's going to have that Transcendence online. You can see Zappa's peering around this corner, waiting for an opportunity to eat it, but Milky Man goes straight into the team of Morning Stars. Asking brings out that grab as expected. Transcendence is there. They're going to be weaving in that self-destruct over the top, but the sound barrier is in place from Dredro if they were exposed to the LOS from that. Helv dropping a hammer. No one's being dropped by that defensive bomb. Coming out from Zappas deters the aggression from Morning Stars, as they will now pop the rallies to reinvigorate the fight and move forward. Helv not allowed to play Overwatch apparently. He's stunned up again by Leaf, who's looking to shut this down every time this man blinks. He's getting pressure from the Brigitte. Here comes that Graviton Surge. Shadow available for Milky Man. They've already found a kill. Lil Bo getting a 4K? Hang on a minute, what's this Lucio doing?
What is this, my son? What's he doing? He's just getting the maximum. Well, the thing is, you know, because the Lucio gun fires 4 pellets, I've literally got the final blow of each one, so was he just fired into that mess? It was just pellet kill, pellet kill, pellet kill. Then he got a boop as well, because it doesn't really respect the global cooldown of his abilities. Milky Man's going to be trying to lay this next push to bed. Does have that Earth Shadow ready to go, and a huge amount of pressure here onto Helve's shield could be exactly what he needs. There's been a huge amount of control onto Helve as well. Every time he goes for a charge into a Graviton Surge, he just boots off onto the horizon. He goes off to Mars instead.
Yeah, the Team Gigantti have got 3 ults available for them, as Milky Man will be pushing forward. It isn't until he has to knock back to stay away from this lineup who are playing around that payload. What's to find the alternative angle around the shield? Helve is starting to work up towards that shatter, but it's already been whiffed by Milky Man, so he's been given a freebie on the house as Kagasi will find Leaf and push him back with the Rocket Flare Whip. Here comes that Graviton Surge from Asking. They're going to be sitting around in that Transcendence. Fire Strike will go through the entire team, but the healing is there. And now the beat comes out afterwards. No layering of support ultimates here. Helve threw down the hammer, but won't find anyone here. He's going extremely low. The beat has to come out from Tridro. And here comes that Graviton Surge with no additional healing. Shield's in the way to block out the self-destruct. Weaved in from Zappis. We've already lost Milky Man here. They're pressing back. Zappis with the boosters onto Kagasi, dealing damage to Helve and applying pressure. David is at 90 plus energy, and he's putting it to good work as he takes out the main tank. While it's in overtime, there are no second chances for Morningstar. They either win this fight or their Havana run ends, and just like that, they lose a mech.
Beneath the tide calling, Asking's gone down, doesn't have a shield to keep himself alive, and there's so much energy available for the finished Fury of Davin.
Big energy there for Team Gigantti, able to deflect and stop that push just shy of point A. We know that point A can be tricky to get through with that forward hold. We can do reminiscent of Rialto back when we were having those quad tank full holds at the door. Similar scenes are happening on Havana, but if you break that initial hold, I don't think it's too big of an ask to come away with a point A capture.
Apparently for Morningstars it is. They break Team Gigantti's hold instantly with some nice bullet bending coming through from the side of Asking.
He crossed the stream.
But the second that Team Gigantti sort of had any semblance of stability, even when they lose Milky Man, their target calling so great, they managed to get so much damage done. They got rid of health. They made sure they were equal on the shielding front so that everyone was equally able to take damage. And it's so surprising that Morningstars lost that because they had such an advantage on the timing of the sound barrier. Team Gigantti had used their Transcendence. They used their sound barrier after that to try and stay in that fight. And Drijo had maybe a 5 or 6 second premium on that sound barrier using it after. There was so much ability for Morningstars to get aggressive. But it just wasn't enough. Gigantti, their target selection was just way too powerful.
It's been fantastic from them. Like you said, even when Milky Man is somewhere off in the skies, like a glistening star in the Milky Way, Team Gigantti's still able to perform what they need, and I would love to see it, Harry. I love to see it. Zappis, eyeing back up on the Sombra. There is so much potential for a Sombra on this map in particular. Look how many balconies and alcoves there are for you to hide behind, decloak, get a stealthy hack onto an aggressively positioned Reinhardt, opens it up for Team Gigantti to plow through.
And if that Reinhardt is forced to disengage, they give up this forward hold, which is so imperative when you need to try and bleed the time bank on Havana, point A, and you can see that Morningstars are going to be in that position. If they are forced to disengage by a hack here, it could be absolutely fatal to their chances. Zappis saw what was happening. Is he going to decide to go out? No, he's going to replay some.
Look at that 25 slow. We're a fire strike. What's going on? Zappis wasn't even in position. And I mean, if you don't see the Diva come out with the team, you have to assume the Sombra is in play here because Zappis has done it before. No adaptations were really made, but they weren't needed. Zappis would just machine pistol down Helve, who was locked up and out of position. The full hold already being broken out by Team Gigantti. Drijo did get some support combat onto Zappe, exerting that support dominance again, but it's not enough to keep Morningstars in that position of aggressive hold.
Only 40 of their seconds were drained away as well. The car is already in motion. And this is not good news for Morningstars. Look at that ultimate percentage they have available. Basically, Drijo's the closest because of so much damage being dealt that he had to be able to pump up those heals. And Team Gigantti, we're going to have almost everything ready by the time that the vanilla sort of like poking at the beginning of a fight turns into an actual assault. Milky Man's ready to move on forward as well, almost with that ready to go Earth Shadow.
And also, I'm looking towards Zappis with that EMP. He can turn off the lights and allow Milky Man the freest shatter of all time. Weren't able to pull it off on Hollywood, but they can redeem themselves here. Zappis is in position. There we go. Zip zap, your circuits are fried, and Health has already been taken off the map. The beat has to come in, so Dredro did his job and avoided that lethal ultimate for him. But Davin's about to get the grab online. Slur transits early. Davin can wait out this and get the overlap with the Graviton Surge. He fires it in the distance to keep Slur in position, stopping him from escaping to safety after he came forward aggressive with the Transcendence. Milky Man then plows through Kagasi, and Davin gets the melee kill onto Tech 3-6. Home stretch for Gigantti.
And guess what? Whoever comes out to contest first going to have to deal with Milky Man and an Earth Shatter. Helv, he's been spotted out right here.
Oh no.
Zappis ready to try and give him a hack.
He's coming in behind him with the hover hand. Won't get the hack off, but he's already too low. He was trying to focus on too many things at once. The Shatter, they're all in a line, and they're all on their backs. Caught sleeping, caught napping. Team Gigantti want to make it this season, and they kick it off in the best way by taking down Morning Stars.
Right there at the end, Milky Man proving that he was worthy, turning into Mjolnir Man, laying down the biggest of hammers, bringing the thunder and the fury upon Morning Stars. They said that Mjolnir was forged in the heart of a dying star, and I think I know whose dying star that was now.
You can add a U to that morning and then turn it into the actual spelling of that team name when it comes around to this particular match. But I'm excited by what I see from Morning Stars. Yes, completely rebuilt roster from the ground up, Dredro being that, the Phoenix, the ashes to then explode up into a beautiful bird. Not quite there yet, was deterred by Gigantti, who were expecting to see more of the same from Leaf.